Imagine this. Alright folks, let's make a bold assumption. Let's say you and your good buddy, Mike, are both hardcore outdoor explorers. You're trekking through a primal forest, a place marked unknown on all the maps. You've been hiking for days, your compass is spinning like a top, and there's nothing around you but trees, and more trees. Suddenly, you both stop dead in your tracks. Right there, through the tangled vines, is a garden. No, garden is too weak a word. This is a perfect crime scene. Why do I say that? Because it's too perfect. Perfect to the point of being creepy. You know, Mother Nature, she's casual. She's got her style, but she definitely doesn't do OCD. But this place? The roses are with the roses, the lilies are with the lilies, all in rows, straight as if measured with a laser ruler. There isn't a single weed. Even the pebbles on the path are so clean they're shining. Your buddy Mike, he sucks in his breath and goes, my God. Someone is definitely tending this place. Look at that handiwork. But you just shake your head. Impossible. Look around. There's not a soul for 100 miles. This has to be some rare natural phenomenon. A freak of nature. Mike's not having it. A freak of nature can sweep a path clean? And do color coordination? And you don't back down. Then where's the person? Where's the proof? Okay, now you're butting heads. And you're both stubborn. Fine. No more talk. Time to solve the case. You guys are serious. You pull all the high-tech gear out of your packs, 3 motion capture cameras, an infrared tripwire across the entrance. You even pull out a small bag of flour, pretty pro, and sprinkle a fine, even layer on the path, just to catch any possible footprints. Then, you start taking shifts on watch. Day 1 passes. Not a single thing. The flour is perfectly flat. Day 2. Still nothing. The camera footage is all wind, leaves, and a few dumb deer. Day 3, day 4. A whole week goes by. You've watched those tapes so much they're practically worn out. Your eyes are bloodshot. You throw up your hands and say, alright, case closed. No gardener. This place is just a freaky coincidence. But just then, Mike, staring at those flowers that are still in perfect bloom, says something quiet. Folks, it's this one sentence that took this story from an outdoor anecdote and blasted it into one of the most famous philosophical cold cases in history. Friends, if this cold case has got you hooked, making this stuff isn't easy. A free like and subscribe for the channel would mean the world. Your support is the fuel that lets me keep telling these brain-bending stories. Okay, back to Mike. Mike adjusts his glasses and says, hey, is it possible? Is what possible? That this gardener, he's invisible. You freeze. He's, what? And, Mike continues, he's silent. And he comes and goes, without a trace. Now it's your turn to suck in your breath. Whoa, buddy, hold on, you say. An invisible, silent, traceless gardener who also doesn't show up on any of our cameras. Then what's the difference between him and a gardener who's just non-existent? Boom. The question you just asked is the core of this whole thought experiment. Over half a century ago, a British philosopher named Antony Flew dropped this invisible gardener story right on the table of every theologian and thinker out there. And man, did it blow up. This isn't just about a garden anymore. This is asking a lethal question: if a belief, in order to survive, just keeps changing the rules, to the point where it can never be proven wrong, then, is that belief even meaningful anymore? Come on, folks. Let's roll out our mind map. First stop, we're climbing inside Flew's brain to see what, exactly, he was so pissed off about. Our mind map has reached the first stop, the logic layer. He's basically saying that Mike's defense, it's not defending his belief, he's cheating. In Flew's view, a truly badass, a heavyweight claim, it's gotta have guts. What does having guts mean? It means it has to dare to expose itself to danger. It has to draw a line in the sand and say, go ahead. If you can prove this thing happens, I lose. I'll admit I was wrong, and my theory is garbage. The most famous example, you all know him, Einstein. When old Al dropped his general relativity on the world, he didn't say, believe it or not, this is just cosmic truth. What did he say? He said, folks, don't rush to praise me. Go find a total solar eclipse. Observe the stars. If the light passing the sun doesn't bend, or if it doesn't bend by the exact amount I predicted, well, then, you can come right back and announce that my general relativity is complete and utter trash. You hear that? Now that's what you call ballsy. He wagered his entire theory on a single, observable outcome. This putting yourself on the line, this courage, it's got a cool name in philosophy, falsifiability. A theory that is easier to falsify, assuming, of course, it isn't falsified, is actually stronger and more valuable. Why? Because it means it survived a beating from reality. Okay, now let's go back to Mike in the garden. Is his "there is a gardener" theory falsifiable? You say, fine, let's set up cameras. Mike says, the gardener is invisible. Boom. The first possibility of falsification, shot down. You say, then let's use flour for footprints. Mike says, the gardener floats, leaving no trace. Boom. The second possibility, shot down. You say, but there must be a sound, right? Snapping shears? Mike says, the gardener is silent. Boom. The third. Are you seeing the problem here? Every time you propose a test, Mike just slaps a patch on his gardener theory. He keeps adding qualifications: invisible, silent, floating, mysterious, beyond our understanding. Flew just had to ask, Mike, if you keep patching this thing, what's left of your original belief? Flew pointed out, brilliantly, a belief, when you add more and more qualifications to it, so many that it becomes afraid of any counter-evidence, well, it dies the death of 1,000 qualifications. It becomes empty. It doesn't explain anything. It shrinks from a claim about the world down to just an expression of my personal feelings. The sentence "there's a gardener" in Mike's mouth basically just translates to, I just feel like this garden is really nice. Well, then just say that. The moment you insist there is an objectively real, invisible gardener, now you're just muddying the waters. And does this "death by 1,000 qualifications" sound familiar? You can't tell me you haven't seen this exact argument online? This is the standard template for arguing inside our modern-day information bubbles. Example, conspiracy theories. Your friend says, I'm telling you, man, the world is secretly controlled by an elite group of lizard people. You say, dude, where's the proof? He says, they're too smart. They've destroyed all the evidence. The fact that you can't find any evidence is the proof itself. See? His theory is invincible. You can never, ever win. Example, the mystic master. The master says, next Wednesday, you will have a romantic encounter. You wait all day Wednesday. Nothing. Not even a spam call. You go back and ask the master. He strokes his beard and says, because your heart was not sincere, you leaked the heavenly secret, and therefore, your destiny was altered by you. See? Invincible again. He's always right, no matter what. Heck, even us, when we face a reality we don't want to accept. My ex is definitely still in love with me. But, they blocked you on everything. That's just fronting. He's afraid he'll be weak and come running back. The fact that he blocked me proves how much he still loves me. Boom, what can you even say to that? Old Man Flew, half a century ago, sounded the alarm for all of us. When a belief claims it can never be wrong, it also means it has never been right. It's not fact. It's just a tautology that sounds nice. Logically, it's worthless. Okay. So on logic, Flew absolutely slayed it. Mike got roasted. But, is that it? Is Mike really just an idiot? Or, is he holding on to that gardener for dear life because he desperately needs this gardener? We have to dive deeper, from the logic layer down into the psychology layer. This invisible gardener, what is its real metaphor? This gardener, its true metaphor is a meaning placebo. Or, to put it in the street terms we all understand, it's a family folk remedy our brains use to fight off chaos anxiety. Think about it. We humans, these anxious, upright walking weirdos, what is the one thing we fear most in this life? It's not death. It's not poverty. It's not even loneliness. The thing we fear most is randomness. It's meaninglessness. Us modern folks. You and me. What do we face every day when we wake up? An algorithm that recommends God knows what. A stock market that's a total roller coaster. Sudden layoff notices. A global pandemic that came out of nowhere. What do we feel like? We feel like we're clinging to a piece of driftwood in a hurricane. No, we don't even have the driftwood, we're like a piece of lettuce flushed down the toilet. Total loss of control. And just when you're about to be driven insane by this feeling of randomness, that's when the gardener comes in. The existence of an invisible gardener, even if he's just a legend, even if he's invisible and silent, tells you at least one crucial thing. This isn't all random. This is design. This garden, our world, it is purposeful, it is ordered. The reason you think it's all chaos is just because you're a mere mortal. You just can't see the grand chess game the gardener, in his wisdom, has laid out. Do you understand Mike now? When he stood in front of that perfect garden, what he felt wasn't beauty. What he felt was order. And order, in that moment, equaled safety. So when you come running up, waving your cameras and flower, trying to prove to him, buddy, wake up. It's just random. It's a coincidence. You're not debating science with him. You are ripping away his placebo. You are snatching that folk remedy right out of his hands. You're trying to take his life, metaphorically. You messed up an interview today. On the way home, you got your wallet stolen. You're shattered. You call your friend. How does your friend console you? They'll probably say, "Oh, don't be sad. This is the universe sending you a signal. It's telling you to slow down. Listen to that. The universe. It sends you signals. It has a plan for you. It tests you." What is that, if not an invisible gardener wearing a starry vest? Another example. You broke up with your partner of 3 years. You're in agony. What does your best friend say? "Honey, don't cry. It just means it wasn't meant to be." Meant to be. Destiny. Those 4 words are like a magic spell. They instantly take a random, awful event that might just be about incompatibility or bad luck and repackage it as one small part of a grand, cosmic plan. Who is meaning it? Who is destining it? It's the gardener, all over again. And the most brutal example. Why are so many of us obsessed with the idea of soulmates? Because, deep down, we cannot stand the potentially crueler truth that love might just be a random collision of hormones, social class, timing, and probability. We would rather believe that somewhere out there, a gardener has already planted one unique rose just for us, and all we have to do is find it. So Mike, the believer, and you, the skeptic, the two of them were never on the same channel from the start. You were playing a logic detective game. You care about facts. And Mike, he was in a psychological self-rescue mission. He cares about meaning. We laugh at Mike for his bad logic, but we ourselves might be out there every single day, searching for and nurturing our own secular gardeners, the universe, destiny, true love, the arc of history. Using them to fight back against that god-awful, maddening randomness. Okay. Now for the problem. If the gardener is a psychological necessity for us, then is Flew's logic warning even useful anymore? This garden cold case, how should it end? Let's go back to the forest. The end of the story is, well, there is no end. In Flew's original parable, the skeptic finally just gives up. He realizes he can never falsify the gardener. He thinks Mike is just completely irrational. He can't take it anymore. He shakes his head, and he leaves. He probably went back and published a paper on the spontaneous emergence of pseudo-order in forests and its effect on the human psyche. And Mike? He stayed. He might have even taken tools out of his own pack and started weeding and watering himself. Because he believed, deeply, that the invisible gardener was watching him and was proud. So, friends, you tell me. Who won? That question is what the invisible gardener's story really wants to ask. My answer is, it depends on the cost. This, right here, is the life-saving red line we have to draw today. We must learn to tell the difference between safe gardeners and dangerous gardeners. What's a safe gardener? It's just like the original article said, love, trust, hope. If Mike believes in the gardener, and that belief inspires him to be a kinder, more loving person, if it makes him less afraid of the randomness of the forest, and he starts to participate in the gardener's great plan by tending the garden himself. In that case, the gardener is a positive metaphor. A faith. It's harmless to others. It's an internal psychological strength. It makes Mike's life more meaningful. That's great, right? No problem. But here comes the critical turning point. Let's say, one day, a drought hits the garden. All the flowers are wilting, about to die. And you, let's say you came back, can't stand to watch it. You hike for miles, haul back gallons of water, and you're about to save these flowers. And right then, Mike throws himself in front of you. His eyes are fanatic. He yells, "Don't! You're frantic, they'll all die if I don't." Mike says, "You don't understand. This is a test from the invisible gardener. He has his own plan. We mortals cannot interfere with his design." Folks, did you hear that? Boom! This is the moment the gardener goes rogue. This is the moment the psychological placebo turns into a deadly poison. When an invisible gardener transforms from an internal comfort into an external dogma. When it stops encouraging you to be better, and starts preventing you from doing what is clearly right. When it starts making you, or the people around you, pay a real-world price. That is when the gardener becomes extremely dangerous. This is the painful truth we have to confront. When your gardener, say, an all-natural ideology, tells you that you don't need to vaccinate your kids, because nature has its own plan, your children pay the price. When your gardener, say, a conspiracy theory, tells you that a certain group of people in the world is evil, that they are weeds in the garden and need to be cleansed, history has shown us that millions of people pay the price. When your gardener, say, fatalism, tells you that you shouldn't even bother trying, that everything is predestined anyway, so you should just lie flat and let it all rot, your entire life pays the price. It's at this moment, my friends. Flew's logic warning, that falsifiability thing, it's not just a philosopher's logical pet peeve anymore. It is a life-saving scalpel. When your belief, or someone else's belief, starts to cause real-world harm, we must bring back the skeptic's logic. We must stand in front of Mike and, loudly and clearly, demand. Where's the proof? If I water these plants, and they live, does that prove your gardener was wrong? You must give me a claim that can be tested. Otherwise, you need to get out of my way. All right. The story is told. The showdown is over. Our mind map is almost at its destination. We started with a garden mystery. We talked about the scalpel of logic, the medicine of psychology, and the danger of reality. So finally, it's time to turn that mirror on ourselves. What's the name of your gardener? Hope you like this one and see you next time, my dear friends.